What's up, folks? Max here, and welcome back to the countdown to Black Ops 2. Getting closer and closer to the release of the game, and I kind of wanted to make some more frequent videos coming up into the release with a bunch of news and information about what's coming up with Black Ops. And over the past week, there hasn't been much real big stuff that's come out, but some little things I will talk about in later episodes. So, getting into the topic today, and I get this question so frequently on my channel, and for a lot of the guys that are on this channel, the majority of you guys have come through fighting game related content, whether it's like newer fighting games or older ones like Street Fighter 4 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, things along that nature. And a lot of folks ask me consistently, why Call of Duty? Like, how could you be interested in a game that is so quote-unquote brain dead to a lot of people? Now let's try to like clear up something about how communities work, or competitive gaming communities work against each other, or pretty much that's exactly what it is. They work against each other. Now, in a community like an online shooter community or a fighting game community, one looks at each other with the exact same perspective. From a fighting game guy's perspective, you look at something like Call of Duty and you say, it's so easy to kill people. Like, you just look at somebody and they're dead practically in a game like Call of Duty. And the people that play shooting games just say, look, you just press buttons and, you know, mash harder and you eventually get a win through a fighting game. It's crazy how when I talk to the respective folks in each one of these communities, they really feel the same way about each other. And it's the same thing with a lot of other gaming specific genres like RTSs and stuff like that. Just because you don't understand the other one doesn't mean it's like brain dead or it's ridiculously easy. There's a very good reason that I like the Call of Duty games so damn much, and why I think the multiplayer formula for these games is genius. And it's because it's designed around an old arcade model. Call of Duty is quote-unquote an arcade shooter, a game that is fast-paced, that is quote-unquote twitch-heavy, that relies on you shooting first and then getting to your next target as fast as possible. It's a twitch arcade shooter. This is much different from a lot of other shooting games. Even games like Halo and Battlefield aren't as much arcade shooters because they take a much different mentality. There is a lot of different aspects when it comes to shooting games, and Call of Duty's kind of in its own unique presence because it allows you to kill people so fast and rewards the player so much for doing well. And in a lot of previous titles, it's actually rewarded people for not doing well, which has frequently got people so upset with the title over many years. What I did like about what Infinity Ward did with the Call of Duty franchise is that they thought they can bring it to something that would be very much more traditional arcade style, and it's very much designed like an arcade game. The things let you know what's going on, it's rewarding, it lets you know everywhere on the map. Like, if you ever played a game on Shipment, you're practically playing like an arcade game from Call of Duty 4. A lot of the people in each of these communities don't look at it in equal light either. Just because you're not good at something doesn't mean the other thing is total garbage. Like, you hear this so much, that when somebody is comparing the skill that they might have or the skill of other people in other competitive games, and they say something along the lines of, oh, that takes no skill to be good at that. I hear that so often. It's like crazy how often you hear from opposites of different gaming competitive sides what the lack of skill it takes to play something like a shooter, or lack of skill it takes to play something like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I can actually give the exact same argument for both sides. If somebody from one of the shooting sides said something about, you know, a game like Ultimate Marvel 3, that game takes no skill to win, it's just pressing buttons and all randomness. For a lot of what you say, that is correct, but the skill in fighting games and the skill that it takes to become good at fighting games is about one really important word, and it's consistency. Being consistent in a game like Marvel 3 or Street Fighter 4 or any fighting game, for instance, is where the skill lies. Sure, an individual game doesn't actually have to take a bunch of skill itself, but for somebody to frequently go up against top players and perform well or have high win records online, because a lot of the time stats don't lie when it comes to like fighting games, and if your record is somewhat decent, it kind of means that you have a basic understanding for the game and you can hold your own. Sure, the randomness will come through and you'll lose every, like, you know, other crazy battle that you don't think you should have lost, and the exact same thing happens in a game like Call of Duty. Sure, you shoot a guy, you know, barely with any gun, and he dies in like 2 or 3 bullets, and you're immediately down, and you look at that and you say, that has no skill. There's no way that somebody can, you know, there's no way that game needs somebody to be good at it to be able to kill people. But look at the other side of it. Like, you're going up against like 8 other dudes on a map or something along those lines, and they all have the exact same stopping power potential as you have. You die in 2 or 3 bullets, and a little bit more from range. You gotta put things into perspective. How hard do you think it is to stay alive longer in a Call of Duty game when you die by such small means? Now, here's a lot of the where the skill happens in Call of Duty and why I like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a Twitch shooter, we've already mentioned that. But it's the fact that you're on this even playing ground with everybody else. Sure, you have this thing where you can level up your weapons and such, but a lot of the guns in Call of Duty, especially a game like Modern Warfare 3, were just incrementally a little bit better than the previous weapon before it sometimes. Some guns were way better, and it's pretty difficult to stay consistent in a game like Call of Duty where that's like riding up against you the whole time. Where a lot of like crazy things might happen in each of the games, so there's a lot of exploits or bugs or stuff like that, and people take advantage of it. And to actually remain with like a high consistent kill death ratio, a consistent like ability to win games or stuff along that line can be pretty hard, especially for the fact if you do things alone. So what I would encourage is that anybody who doesn't think that like Call of Duty games don't take skill or anything along those lines, play out 10 matches in Call of Duty and see if you can't keep your kill death ratio above 2 for the most part and win at least half of the games. You'd be surprised by how many people that complain about the lack of skill that these games take, and then whenever they're saying stuff like this, I go and look at their player card or their record or something like that, and the dudes have like a 0.5 kill death ratio and lose almost every single game. And you kind of understand why they would think it would take no skill, because they don't understand the skill it takes to get good at a game like it. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you like about the Call of Duty formula. I already went over why I like it with its arcade roots, and now it's an easy-to-access, quick and fun action-based Twitch shooter. But what is it about that Call of Duty that brings you guys in besides the huge like multiplayer aspect with everybody playing? What is it about the formula to Call of Duty that makes it so good? So a little bit of food for thought. Next time we'll get getting back into the Black Ops 2 news and information. But until then, my name is Maximilian, signing out.